You've heard it 1,000 times. Fasting burns fat, protein builds muscle. But here's the truth nobody's telling you. When you combine the right kind of intermittent fasting with a high protein diet, your body doesn't just lose weight, it transforms into a fat burning, muscle preserving machine. Most people never feel this because they're doing one or both completely wrong. They're fasting too long, under eating protein, or breaking their fast with garbage foods that kill their progress before it even starts. See, fasting alone is powerful, but it's not magic, and protein alone is critical, but it's not enough. You've got to understand how they work together. The timing, the balance, and the quality of what you eat after your fast. That's what flips the metabolic switch from slow and sluggish to lean and energetic. And let's bust a few myths right out of the gate. No, fasting won't melt your muscle if you do it correctly. No, eating high protein won't kick you out of fat burning mode. That's outdated nonsense. In fact, when you fast and then feed your body properly with high quality protein, you protect lean muscle, stabilize blood sugar, and train your metabolism to burn fat around the clock. Most people are stuck in a cycle of under-eating protein, overeating carbs, and wondering why fasting stopped working. It didn't stop working, they just never did it right. So in this video, we're breaking down the exact way to combine intermittent fasting and high protein to get faster fat loss, more energy, and long-term results you can actually feel every single day. Everybody loves to say fasting burns fat. And yeah, that's true for a while. But here's what nobody tells you if all you're doing is fasting and not fueling your body right afterward. You're not just burning fat, you're also burning muscle. That's right, your hard-earned lean tissue. And once your body starts chewing through that, your metabolism slows to a crawl. Then you hit that dreaded plateau and wonder why the scale won't budge. It's not because fasting stopped working. It's because you did it wrong. See, fasting by itself is like driving a car with no gas and no oil. Sure, you'll coast for a while, but eventually the engine seizes. Your metabolism is that engine. It needs protein, real high-quality protein, to stay running efficiently. When you fast for long periods and then break your fast with a salad, a smoothie, or a handful of nuts, you're sending your body one clear message: we're starving. And guess what your body does in starvation mode? It slows everything down to survive. Heart rate, thyroid function, calorie burn, all dialed down to conserve energy. That's when you start feeling cold all the time. That's when your energy crashes halfway through the day. That's when fat loss stalls and frustration kicks in. You think fasting failed you, but what really failed was your protein strategy. Let's talk about muscle for a second. Muscle is metabolically active tissue, meaning it burns calories just sitting there. Every pound of lean muscle keeps your metabolism humming like a well-tuned engine. But when you fast without enough protein, your body starts breaking that muscle down to use the amino acids for basic survival. You lose lean mass, which means your calorie burn drops. So even if you eat clean, your metabolism's now slower than before. You're burning fewer calories than you think. That's why people say, I'm fasting but not losing weight anymore. You're not losing fat. You're losing muscle. And that's the worst kind of weight loss there is. Let me give you a visual. Imagine your metabolism as a campfire. Protein is the thick, solid log that keeps that fire burning hot and steady. Fat and carbs, those are the little twigs and paper that flare up fast and die out quick. If you only fast and never throw a good protein log on that fire, the flame sputters out. You're left cold, tired, and frustrated now. Let's look at hormones, the real traffic cops of metabolism. When you fast without protein support, cortisol rises. Cortisol's that stress hormone that tells your body to store fat and break down muscle. Combine that with low insulin and low thyroid activity, and your system gets confused. It doesn't know if you're in a famine or a fitness plan. The result, Your body clings to fat for dear life because it thinks you're starving. That's why you see people fasting for weeks, losing weight fast at first, then hitting a wall so hard they bounce back with even more fat after stopping. But when you bring protein into the mix, the right amount, at the right time, everything changes. Protein signals safety to your body. It tells your metabolism, we're fed, we're stable, we can burn fat without panic. It preserves lean muscle, supports thyroid function, and actually boosts your metabolism through something called the thermic effect of food. That's just a fancy way of saying your body burns calories digesting protein. It's like revving your engine while burning fuel at the same time. Fasting doesn't give you that by itself, but fasting with protein does this combo. Fasting to trigger fat burning, protein to preserve muscle is metabolic synergy. That's when your body becomes efficient, not desperate. You're no longer fighting your biology, you're working with it. You stop feeling hungry all the time because protein keeps you full. You stop losing energy because your muscle mass is protected. And your fat loss, it becomes steady, predictable, sustainable. Most people think they can starve their way skinny. That's a rookie mistake. You can't outsmart biology. If your body doesn't feel safe, it'll fight you every step of the way. Protein makes it feel safe. It keeps the fire burning while fasting clears the clutter. That's the secret the mainstream diet world keeps missing. Fasting alone isn't the problem. It's fasting without fuel that ruins the results. So if you've been doing intermittent fasting and your progress has stalled, don't quit. Don't blame the method. Just fix the missing piece. Bring in high quality protein, eggs, beef, fish, chicken, whatever real food you like, and watch what happens. Your metabolism wakes back up. Your energy comes roaring back. And your fat burning engine starts humming again, stronger than ever. Let's talk about why protein is the real hero of your metabolism. Not carbs, not fat, not that overpriced superfood powder somebody's selling you on Instagram. Real, high-quality protein is the single most powerful nutrient when it comes to building, maintaining, and fueling a lean, fat-burning body. You can fast all day long, but if you're not hitting enough protein when you eat, you're leaving your metabolism half asleep. Think of your body like a construction site. Every day, cells are being repaired, muscles rebuilt, enzymes produced, hormones made. Protein is the raw material. The bricks, steel, and lumber your body uses to do all that work. The amino acids inside protein are like individual building blocks. Your body can't make most of them on its own. So if you don't eat enough protein, construction slows down. And when the workers don't have materials, they start tearing down old structures, your muscle tissue, just to keep things running. That's how people lose muscle and slow their metabolism, even while eating healthy. Now here's where it gets interesting. Protein has something called the thermic effect of food. Fancy term, simple meaning, it takes energy to digest and process food, and protein makes your body work the hardest. If you eat 100 calories of protein, your body burns about 20 to 30 of those calories just digesting it. Compare that to carbs or fat, which barely burn 5 to 10. That's like getting a free metabolic boost every time you eat steak, eggs, or fish. You're literally burning calories while eating. No treadmill required. Protein also stabilizes your blood sugar like nothing else. When you eat a carb-heavy meal, your blood sugar spikes, insulin rushes in, and a couple hours later you crash, tired, cranky, and hungry again. But when you eat enough protein, that roller coaster flattens out. Protein slows down digestion and keeps glucose levels steady. Your pancreas doesn't have to pump out as much insulin, and your cells become more sensitive to it over time. Translation: less fat storage, better energy, fewer cravings. That's how protein improves insulin sensitivity. It's not a drug. It's not a detox. It's biology working the way it's supposed to. And speaking of cravings, let's talk about those hunger hormones everyone forgets about. Ghrelin, GLP-1, and peptide YY. Weird names, but they decide whether you feel satisfied or starving. Ghrelin is the little gremlin that makes you hungry. Protein slams the brakes on ghrelin, keeping hunger low for hours. GLP-1 and peptide Y, on the other hand, are your satiety hormones. They tell your brain, we're good, we're full, stop eating. Protein cranks both of them up. That's why after a big protein meal, you don't think about food for hours, but after a bowl of cereal, you're starving again in 90 minutes. It's not willpower. It's chemistry now combined, that protein magic with intermittent fasting, and you've got a system that runs on efficiency. Fasting sets the stage by clearing insulin out of the way, letting your body tap into stored fat for fuel. But when you finally break that fast, protein is the power switch. It feeds your muscle, keeps your metabolism high, and prevents the crash that happens when people break their fast with sugar or low protein snacks. You're teaching your body to burn fat without losing strength. You're optimizing both sides of the equation, fat loss and muscle maintenance. Let's simplify this even more. Picture two engines sitting side by side. One runs on premium fuel, that's protein. The other runs on cheap gas, carbs, and sugar. The premium engine runs cleaner, burns more efficiently, lasts longer. The cheap one knocks, sputters, and breaks down. That's your metabolism. Protein keeps the cylinders firing smooth. It keeps your metabolic engine hot even while fasting. No sputtering, no stalls, and here's a myth that needs to die. Eating more protein won't make you bulky. You don't wake up looking like a bodybuilder because you ate chicken and eggs. You'd have to live in the gym and eat in a surplus for months to even get close. What protein does do is protect the lean muscle you already have and make your body tighter, stronger, and more defined as you lose fat. It's the difference between being skinny and being lean. So remember this: fasting is the tool that clears the metabolic clutter. Protein is the nutrient that rebuilds the structure. One sets the stage, the other drives the show. You can't have a strong metabolism without protein, and you can't maximize fasting without feeding that system right afterward. The science isn't complicated. Your body wants to thrive, not survive. Feed it like it's worth maintaining, not like it's disposable. When it comes to protein, most folks focus only on how much to eat. But here's the truth. When you eat protein is just as important as how much. You can hit your daily target, but if your timing's off, you're leaving results on the table. Fat loss slows down, muscle repair stalls, hormones get confused, and your metabolism never finds its rhythm. You can't just dump all your protein in one sitting and expect magic. Timing is the difference between your body thriving or spinning its wheels. Here's the first rule. When you break your fast, go protein first. I don't care what fancy smoothie or superfood you've seen online. If the first thing you eat after fasting isn't protein, you're starting on the wrong foot. Think of it like turning the key on a high-performance engine. The first thing you feed that engine determines how it runs for the rest of the day. If you break your fast with sugar, oats, or fruit, your insulin spikes, your fat burning shuts off, and your cravings come roaring back. But if you break your fast with high-quality protein, meats, meat, fish, or a clean shake, you trigger the right cascade of hormones. You wake up mTOR, the muscle repair switch inside your body, and you tell your metabolism, we're building, not breaking. That's how you preserve lean tissue and keep the fat burning fire alive. Let's talk about mTOR for a second. It stands for mechanistic targeted rapamycin, but don't let the name scare you. It's basically your body's growth signal. When activated correctly with protein after fasting, it says, use these amino acids to rebuild muscle. But here's the catch. If you activate mTOR all the time with snacks, carbs, and grazing, you blunt its power. The magic happens when you cycle it, fast, then feed. That's the metabolic rhythm your body loves. Fasting keeps mTOR quiet so your body can clean house, then protein wakes it up at the perfect moment to rebuild. That cycle keeps your metabolism youthful, flexible, and strong. Now, here's where people go wrong. They try to do one meal a day, cram 120 grams of protein into one sitting, and call it optimal. Sorry, that's not how physiology works. Your body can only use so much protein for muscle building at once. Roughly 30 to 50 grams, depending on your size, muscle mass, and activity level. The rest gets burned for energy or wasted. It's like trying to dump a week's worth of water on your plants in one day. They don't thrive, they drown. So if you're doing one meal a day, you're shortchanging your muscle and slowing your progress. Even if your calories look perfect on paper, instead, go for 2 solid meals during your eating window. Break your fast with a protein first meal, then have another protein-centered meal a few hours later. This keeps your amino acid levels stable and your metabolism humming. You don't need to snack. You don't need to graze. Just 2 proper feedings with real food. The first meal jumpstarts the system. The second one locks in recovery and keeps hormones balanced. You're feeding strategically, not constantly. That's what creates metabolic rhythm. Periods of fasting followed by intentional fueling. It's like sprinting and resting instead of jogging aimlessly all day. Here's what it looks like in practice. Let's say you're doing a 16-8 fast, fasting for 16 hours, eating in an 8-hour window. You break your fast around noon with a protein first meal, maybe eggs, beef or chicken with some non-starchy veggies and healthy fats. Then 5 or 6 hours later, you eat your second meal, again protein at the center, maybe fish or steak with some greens. That's it. 2 meals, both anchored in protein, spaced to maximize recovery and control insulin. No snacking, no grazing, no carb bombs. Just structure, simplicity, and results. This timing keeps insulin controlled. Every time you eat, insulin rises. That's normal. But protein raises it gently and predictably. Unlike carbs that spike it sky high, 2 protein-based meals mean 2 small, stable insulin bumps, followed by long stretches of fat burning. That's balance. That's control. And that's how you train your body to stay in fat burning mode without feeling deprived or weak. The mistake people make is thinking more fasting equals more fat loss. Wrong. It's smarter fasting that wins. Fasting long enough to clean the system, then feeding strategically to rebuild it. Protein is the command signal. Timing is the amplifier. Get both right and your body becomes efficient, energetic, and lean. Get them wrong and you're just tired, hungry, and spinning your wheels. So here's the bottom line. Don't just fast and don't just eat protein. Time it right. Break your fast with protein to wake up mTOR and metabolism. Eat your second protein meal to stabilize hormones and recovery. 2 meals, real food, consistency. That's how you make intermittent fasting sustainable, powerful, and foolproof. That's how you get results that don't fade when the diet ends. Let's get something straight. Not all protein is created equal. I don't care what the marketing label says. I don't care what influencer is shaking it up on Instagram. And I don't care how many grams of protein the package claims. There's a world of difference between protein that comes from real food and protein that comes from a factory. If your protein comes with a barcode, a slogan, and 10 ingredients you can't pronounce, you're not feeding your body. You're fooling it. Real food protein, eggs, beef, fish, chicken comes with complete amino acids, natural fats, and micronutrients that your body knows exactly what to do with. These foods have been fueling human metabolism for thousands of years. Your ancestors didn't need a shaker bottle or a blender. They ate real protein and their bodies thrived. Every bite of steak, every egg yolk, every piece of salmon is loaded with bioavailable amino acids, meaning your body can absorb and use them efficiently. Nothing wasted, nothing artificial, just clean fuel that builds muscle, repairs tissue, and keeps metabolism roaring. Now let's talk about the protein powders, the bars, and the plant isolates that dominate the shelves. The labels sound great: high protein, low sugar, vegan, fortified with vitamins. But here's the ugly truth. Most of these products are ultra-processed junk in disguise. They're built in labs, not grown or raised. They use artificial sweeteners, gums, oils, and fillers to make them taste like dessert. And every time you swallow one of those healthy shakes or bars, you're spiking insulin and slowing your fat burning. That's not nutrition. That's marketing dressed up as health. Protein quality isn't just about quantity. It's about amino acid completeness. Your body needs 20 different amino acids, but 9 of them are essential, meaning you have to get them from food. Animal proteins contain all 9 in the perfect ratios for human health. Plant proteins, they're missing key ones like lysine or methionine, and even when you combine them, the bioavailability is weak. It's like trying to build a house with missing bricks. You can patch it together, but it won't hold up under pressure. That's why people eating mostly plant isolates often lose muscle, feel tired, and struggle to recover after workouts. The protein numbers on the label might look good, but your body isn't absorbing it like you think. Then there's leucine, the amino acid that flips on muscle growth and repair. Leucine is the ignition key for mTOR, that metabolic switch we talked about earlier. Without enough leucine, your body doesn't activate muscle building, even if you're eating enough total protein. Animal proteins like beef, eggs, and whey have plenty of leucine. Most plant and processed sources, not even close. You could drink 2 big shakes and still not trigger the same muscle repair as a single serving of steak or salmon. It's like revving the car engine with no spark plug. All noise, no power, and here's another kicker: bioavailability, or how much of that protein your body can actually use. Real food proteins have high bioavailability, meaning your digestive system breaks them down easily, absorbs the amino acids, and puts them to work. Processed powders and bars often contain denatured or incomplete proteins that pass right through your system. You might be drinking 20 grams on paper, but your body's only getting 10. The rest is filler fiber and marketing fluff. People fall for this trap because the convenience is tempting. It's easy to toss a scoop in a blender and call it a meal. But here's what happens long term: constant insulin spikes from artificial sweeteners, digestive bloating from gums and emulsifiers, and zero satiety because your body knows it didn't get real food. You end up hungry an hour later, chasing another snack, and wondering why fasting feels impossible. Real food doesn't do that. Real food satisfies you, stabilizes your blood sugar, and keeps you full for hours because it's nutrient dense, not just calorie dense. Look, there's nothing wrong with the occasional clean whey isolate if you're in a rush or on the road. But it should supplement real food, not replace it. Your main protein should still come from eggs, meat, poultry, and fish, the foods nature designed for human metabolism. They don't just feed your muscles, they feed your hormones, your brain, your immune system, everything. You don't get that from a powder. You get that from something that once had a heartbeat or grew from the ground, not something pressed into a bar and sealed in plastic. So next time you reach for that protein shake that tastes like a milkshake, ask yourself, do I want marketing protein or metabolic protein? Because one builds real muscle and the other builds frustration. One keeps you full and burning fat. The other keeps you dependent and craving more. Don't let the food industry sell you fake protein disguised as health. Stick to the real stuff: eggs, beef, fish, chicken, the proteins that built the strongest humans in history. Real food builds real results. Fake protein builds fake progress. Choose wisely. Your metabolism isn't just calories in and calories out. It's a hormonal symphony. Every note, every instrument has to play in rhythm, or the whole thing sounds like noise. Fasting and protein together tune that symphony perfectly. They get your hormones, insulin, glucagon, cortisol, and growth hormone working together instead of fighting each other. And when that happens, your body finally learns to burn fat efficiently, preserve muscle, and keep your energy steady all day long Let's start with insulin, the big one. Insulin is like the gatekeeper for fat burning. When insulin is high, fat stays locked away in storage. When insulin drops, your body opens the gates and lets fat out to be burned for energy. That's why fasting is so powerful. It gives insulin a break. When you stop eating for a stretch of hours, your insulin levels naturally fall. And once they're low enough, your body finally gets permission to tap into its fat stores. That's when you start burning your own body fat instead of just the food you eat. But here's the kicker. If you break your fast with the wrong food, like carbs or sugar, you spike insulin right back up and slam those gates shut again. Fat burning stops instantly. That's why protein first is the rule. It keeps insulin low and controlled. So your metabolism stays in fat burning mode even after you eat. Now let's bring in glucagon, insulin's opposite twin. Think of insulin and glucagon like a seesaw. When one goes up, the other goes down. Insulin stores energy, glucagon releases it. Fasting pushes glucagon up, telling your liver to free stored energy and burn fat. But protein also supports glucagon. It gently stimulates it without spiking insulin the way carbs do. That means when you combine fasting with a high protein meal, you're getting a metabolic handshake between insulin and glucagon. Insulin stays calm, glucagon stays active, and your body keeps pulling energy from fat and from your next snack. That's how you keep fat burning going all day. Even between meals, then there's cortisol, the stress hormone. Cortisol gets a bad reputation, but it's not the enemy. It's just misunderstood. It's your body's built-in alarm clock, designed to help you wake up, stay alert, and mobilize fuel when needed. The problem is when cortisol stays high all day from stress, poor sleep, or bad eating habits. Chronic high cortisol tells your body to hold on to fat, especially around the belly, and break down muscle. But when you fast correctly and fuel with protein, cortisol starts working for you, not against you. Fasting naturally raises cortisol slightly. That's your body mobilizing energy. But when you eat protein at the right time, you blunt that stress response. You give your body fuel without kicking insulin too high. It's balance. You stay focused, calm, and energized instead of anxious and drained. That's the hormonal control most people never experience because they're snacking themselves into chaos all day long. Now, let's talk about the big repair hormone, growth hormone. This is the one people spend hundreds of dollars trying to boost. But your body gives it to you for free when you fast. Growth hormone rises dramatically during fasting, 5 times higher in some cases. Why? Because your body's protecting your lean muscle while you're not eating. It's saying, don't burn the muscle, burn the fat. That's a built-in preservation mechanism. And when you finally break your fast with protein, you give that growth hormone something to work with, amino acids to rebuild, repair, and strengthen tissue. Fasting signals the repair crew. Protein provides the building materials. That's metabolic teamwork at its finest. Put all of this together. Low insulin, steady glucagon, balanced cortisol, elevated growth hormone, and what you've got is a hormonal symphony in perfect tune. Each hormone doing its job, none of them overpowering the others. Your metabolism becomes smooth, efficient, and stable. You stop feeling those wild energy swings. You stop craving sugar. You start sleeping better because your blood sugar isn't bouncing all night. You wake up rested because your hormones actually got a chance to do their jobs instead of cleaning up dietary disasters from the day before. Think of it like this. Most people are running their metabolism like a chaotic kitchen. Insulin's shouting, cortisol's panicking, glucagon's ignored, and growth hormones locked in the closet. But when you combine fasting and protein properly, suddenly everyone knows their role. Insulin steps back, glucagon takes charge of fat release, cortisol manages alertness without panic, and growth hormone quietly rebuilds everything behind the scenes. It's not magic, it's management. This combo, fasting plus protein, doesn't just help you lose fat. It reprograms your hormones to stay balanced. You feel steady energy instead of spikes and crashes. Your hunger signals calm down because ghrelin and insulin aren't bouncing all over the place. You sleep deeper because cortisol finally has a rhythm. And your metabolism becomes predictable, not perfect, but controlled. That's what true metabolic health feels like. So if you've been fasting and still feeling sluggish, hungry, or moody, it's not that fasting doesn't work. It's that your hormones are out of tune. Add in the right protein at the right times, and you'll finally hear the music again. That's the sound of a body burning fat, protecting muscle, and running like it was designed to. All right, let's put all this together. The fasting, the protein, the hormones, the timing, and build what I call your metabolic blueprint. This isn't about starving yourself, suffering, or white-knuckling your way through hunger. This is strategy. You're training your metabolism to work for you, not against you. Fasting teaches your body to burn fat. Protein teaches your body to keep muscle. When you combine them the right way, fat loss stops being a fight and becomes a natural process. Here's where most people mess this up. They think intermittent fasting means don't eat anything for as long as possible. Wrong. That's starvation, not strategy. Fasting is simply controlled timing. You give your body a break from food long enough for insulin to drop and fat burning to start. You're not punishing yourself. You're teaching your metabolism to switch fuel sources efficiently. The cleanest way to do it. Start with a 16 and 8 fasting schedule. 16 hours of fasting, 8 hours of eating. That means if you finish dinner at 7 p.m., your first meal the next day is around 11 a.m. Simple, flexible, sustainable now. During that fasting window, keep it clean. No calories, no cream, no keto coffee, no sweeteners. Black coffee, plain tea, water, and electrolytes only. That's it. The second you add cream or sugar or flavored drinks, you break the fast and send insulin up. And when insulin goes up, fat burning stops. Remember, fasting isn't a flavor contest, it's a metabolic reset. Keep it clean, keep it simple, keep it effective. Then, when it's time to eat, here's where protein takes the wheel. The first meal of the day, your break fast, should always start with real high quality protein. Think eggs cooked in butter, ground beef with avocado, chicken thighs or salmon. No cereals, no smoothies, no toast. Your body just spent 16 hours fasting. It's primed for repair, not sugar. Give it amino acids, not glucose. You want that first bite to trigger muscle preservation, not insulin chaos. Around 40 to 50 grams of protein at that first meal is a good start for most people. More if you're bigger, less if you're smaller. That's roughly 4 to 6 eggs with cheese and meat, or a palm-sized portion and a half of animal protein a few hours later. Have your second meal, another protein-centered plate, maybe steak with vegetables, fish with buttered greens, or chicken with eggs. Keep the carbs low to moderate, focus on whole food fats, and make sure protein still takes center stage. That second feeding locks in muscle repair, balances hormones, and keeps hunger calm until the next day. No snacking, no healthy bars, no grazing. 2 strong meals, both anchored in protein, spaced about 5 to 6 hours apart. That's the rhythm that keeps your metabolism trained and consistent. Now, how much protein total per day? The general target is 1 gram of protein per pound of your ideal body weight. So if your goal weight is 150 pounds, aim for about 150 grams of protein per day. You can hit that easily with 2 solid meals, 75 grams each, or a little more at one and less at the other. Don't overthink it. You don't need to weigh every bite or track every calorie. Focus on real food, consistent timing, and getting enough quality protein every single day. And here's what happens when you do it right. Your energy stops crashing, your hunger disappears, and your body starts running smoothly again. You stop craving sugar because your blood sugar stays stable. You wake up energized, not foggy. You sleep better because your hormones are balanced. You build lean muscle while burning fat, and the scale starts moving in the right direction for the right reasons. This is how you make fasting sustainable. You're not depriving yourself. You're optimizing yourself, people always say. But won't I lose muscle if I fast? Not if you do it this way. Fasting turns on fat burning. Protein preserves muscle. They're partners, not enemies. This combination is what your body was designed for. Hunter-gatherers lived on this rhythm. They didn't eat every 2 hours. They ate when food was available, and when they did, it was rich in protein and nutrients. You're not hacking your biology. You're returning to it, so here's the blueprint. Plain and simple, fast, clean, eat real, hit your protein, no fake foods, no snacks, no gimmicks. Just consistency, structure, and real nourishment. This isn't a temporary diet. It's a metabolic training plan for life. Your body will respond. It has to. That's how human physiology works. You'll burn more fat, build more strength, and finally feel in control of your appetite and energy again. Stop thinking of fasting as starvation and start seeing it as precision. Stop fearing protein and start using it as your secret weapon. The moment you fix your protein, follow clean fasting, and stay consistent, your metabolism will reward you. Your energy will rise, your cravings will vanish, and your fat loss will actually stick. You don't need another diet. You need discipline, real food, and time-tested biology working in your favor. Do that, and your body will finally do what it was built to do: burn fat, build strength, and keep you thriving every single day.